Hey everyone, this is Teeger, and today I'm going to walk you through how to convert mesh that was rigged for the Teegle Horse avatar in Second Life to now fit the Teeglepet in Second Life. The first thing you're going to want to do is open up your Teegle Horse avatar to Teeglepet Hanoverian converter file. Now, there are enough structural differences between the Teegle Horse avatar and the Teeglepet that using Second Life's limited rigging capabilities, I'm not going to be able to perfectly refit everything for you because the mesh has changed shape. But the purpose of this file is to hopefully save you a little bit of work, to give you a nice starting point so that you don't have to completely manually redo all of your work. So the first thing you're going to want to do now is import a collada, or an object if you choose, that was rigged to the Teegle Horse and has all of its correct weights already in place, like this harness, which you may recognize as the Teegle Horse harness in my store. So I see it imported over here. I'm going to come to this layer. It is invisible for some reason, so I'm going to open it up in here, find its skeleton, and there it is. I'm also going to turn on my screencast for you so that you can see which keys I'm hitting. So you're going to want to come into this skeleton, right-click it, and hit X to delete it. And now right-click each of the parts of your mesh that you've imported, and I need to rotate these on the Z-axis by -90 degrees. Going back to layer 1 down here. When you right-click this layer, you will see that it is called the Teegle Avatar Rig, because if you go over here to frame 0 or frame 1, here you can see it's labeled as the Teegle Horse Avatar, and this head should more or less fit where your Teegle Avatar mesh is. Because these meshes were already rigged to the Teegle Horse, when I come over here to the Modifiers tab, and then click on Object, you should see that there's already an armature in place because it is waiting for the Teegle Horse armature. And I'm going to fill in that Teegle Horse armature with the Teegle Avatar Rig, which is this skeleton that we're looking at right now. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, find its armature, and fill the object with Teegle Avatar Rig. So now when we move the keyframe from 0 to 5, you can see down here 5 is labeled as Teeglepet Hanoverian, and you will see the mesh has gotten smaller as we move to keyframe 5. If I open up layer 2 here, hold shift and left click this layer to open them both at the same time, you can see that now it actually fits on the Teegle Hanoverian body. Before it looked like this, and now it looks like this. Now this will not be an exact fit, as I said at the beginning. This is sort of an estimation to give you a nice starting point. I can see a few problems already. First off, I can see that the bit is not quite in the mouth there. And second, I can see that I don't really like where this is sitting on the horse's back. I think I want to move it forward a little bit. So there's two ways you can go about making these changes. You may choose at this point to just go ahead and apply modifier right now and make all of your changes in edit mode. But instead I'm going to go ahead and make some changes on the skeleton and then touch up later in edit mode. So I'm going to right click the skeleton, and I'm going to find this tiny little bone right here, which is the pelvis, and I'm going to grab that and move it forward just a little bit on the horse's body. Right about there looks good. And now I'm going to take one of the spine bones, which is largely unused, to move the rest of the body back to where it should be, approximately. I'm just eyeballing it, you know. The bit is still not quite in the mouth, so I'm going to go ahead and move that spine just a little bit more again. And maybe I will also rotate the head down just a tiny bit. And that does look better. And lastly, I think I might want to fix this right here. So I'll go ahead and hit B to select both of these leg bones, grab them, and bring them backwards some. So now that looks like a fairly good starting point to me, to my eye. So I'm going to go ahead and right click each mesh and apply the armature. And now you will need to do some touch-up work in edit mode. So I will go ahead and turn on proportional editing, which I think will speed this process quite a lot. I'm going to select a vertex, use my scroll wheel to widen my selection and move the mesh out so that it is no longer clipping through the horse's body. I'm going to do the same thing right here to move the mesh out. Down here, I see this is clipping through the body, so I'm going to select in the middle here, go back to my 3 view, and move that down at a diagonal so that it sits underneath the horse's body. And I think up here, last but not least, I will take the nose band and scoot it down just a little bit so that it sits more comfortably on the horse's nose. So there we have it. Now I'm going to, last but not least, I'm going to hide our first armature and select the second armature here on layer 3, which if you right click it, you can see it is called the Teeglepet Conversion armature because this is the correct armature for the Teeglepet. And I'm going to put this into pose mode, right click my mesh, shift and right click the armature, do Control P and set parent with empty groups. Same thing on this mesh, select the mesh, shift right click the armature, Control P and set parent with empty groups. And now when you check your modifiers tab, you will see that they are both set to an armature modifier with the Teeglepet Conversion rig. If I move this rig, now you can see that the mesh moves with the rig. And now if I wanted to, I could export this and get a pretty decent approximate fit on the Teeglepet. I do recommend that after completing this process, you go back through and you check all of your weights. You may need to do some weight modifications. Some pieces may have moved slightly to create some small problems like this. You may want to go back through and fix. But hopefully this will give you a nice starting point so that you can convert your files to your liking without using too much time. I hope this tutorial has helped, maybe saves you a little bit of time, and happy rigging!